Hey guys, it's Owen from Richmond Reptiles. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video if it's helpful. Today we're going to show you how to set up the lights for your bearded dragon properly.
So as you can see here, we use 2 heat lamps with one having 150 watt basking light and one having 100 watt basking light. And then the most important thing is the UVB bar, which we will move inside of the enclosure because this is a 14% UVB bar, which for little baby Cyrus here is a little bit strong. So as he gets older, we'll move it inside of the enclosure. Now that you know what kind of equipment you're going to want to use, now let's talk about placement. Now you're going to want your main heat lamp to be over the main basking area. You want the basking area to reach up to 115 degrees, but really you want it kind of in between the 105 and 110 range. You can test that with an infrared thermometer gun. And then you're going to want the ambient temperature right in the 95-degree range. You can test it with the hang down thermometer that we have there. Now it's really important to have your basking lights and your UVB bar light overlapping over the basking area, because that's where your lizard's going to spend a lot of the time, or your bearded dragon is going to spend a lot of its time. And it's really important for it to get both that heat for digestion along with the UVB, which also helps with digestion. So with that being said, you're going to want the UVB bar to run parallel with your basking lights. And again, you're going to want your basking lights, at least one of them right over the basking area. Now, when Cyrus here gets a little bit bigger, we're going to probably move the basking to more of an L shape and leave the UV bar, or maybe move it on a diagonal going across here. But it's important to know that you don't want it to take up more than 3/4 of the enclosure. When I first was setting up tanks, I was told it's a warm side and a cool side. I thought the UVB bar, that light blue one right there, had to be in the center and covering the whole tank, which is not true. It's really important that it's doubling up on the basking side and that you actually have a shade side. So what I like to explain to people is that you have a sunshot side and a shade side of the enclosure. It really helped me out a lot. Your temperature gradients are going to be, like I said, on this warm side, you're going to want it to be up to 115 in that basking area. Those basking rocks are going to be warmer than the air, so make sure to temp them with that infrared thermometer gun. And then you want your overall warm side to be right around 90 to 95 degrees. And then over here on the cool side, you're going to want it to be kind of in the 80s, even if you can, 75. That's why we really like this enclosure, because it actually has 2 holes for the electronic wires to come out, so that'll be nice when we move the UV bar inside the enclosure, but also it's nice because it gives you some air holes on the side. The reason why you're going to want the cool side to have that temperature gradient is so that your bearded dragon can kind of choose what it wants. If it wants to be in the direct sunlight or our artificial direct sunlight, or maybe less UVB but still warm, and then you have a more just UVB side along with a completely shaded, I just want some rest in the shade and chill out for a little bit. Cyrus here loves just chilling on his warm side. It's about 93 degrees right now. I am gonna try to up that a little bit. He actually is running 100 watt in each of the dome lights on the top because we were worried about it being a little bit too warm. But with his temperatures not really getting up there too much, I'm gonna actually do the 150 watt like I was saying, because that's what really works in Days enclosure. Speaking of Days setup, I figured we might as well show it to you. You can see Day. Say hi, Day. She's basking on the more UVB side, right where it's about 90 degrees. That's why we do try to stress that 90 to 95 degrees for them, because it seems to be their favorite when they're not just finishing a meal. But as you can see here, we got the double dome light, one 150, one 100 watt, and then we have our UVB bar overlapping it. On the left side here, you can see where her basking area is. That's going to be like right in 106 normally. I haven't checked it in a couple days, but typically it's 106 to 104, 100 in the shade over in the back. Her cave right here normally is in the 90s, 90, 95. She likes to hang out in there for the first hour or so of her day. And then over on this side, we have her cool side. We got her cool hide, which averages right in the high 70s. We can't seem to get it below 78-ish. And then same on that back side over there is right in the low 80s. So realistically, she has a great temperature gradient throughout this whole tank. And we're going to be making some videos on why we set up each tank, like decoration wise, the way we did, along with the chameleon enclosures, because we do put a lot of thought into how each one is designed and for each one's needs. So baby bearded dragons and juveniles need a little bit different setups than the adults or even sub-adults. Day here is only a few months older than Cyrus, but you can see the size difference in her compared to Cyrus earlier in the video.
Alright guys, that's how you set up the lights for your new bearded dragon. Until next time, make sure to like and subscribe so we can keep making videos on how to care for your reptiles properly.